Ladies and gentlemen, the Game Awards 2022 nominations just went live a little while ago, and I want to take a look through some of the categories here and maybe even try to guess some of the different winners. I'm looking right now at the main page here, 2022 nominees. There are a lot of categories, and to be honest, many of these, especially when it comes to esports, I probably won't have the best input for, so what I'm going to do is probably pick like 6 or 7 of these categories that we'll take a look at here today. So if you guys enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button. And if new to the Small Wave Plus channel, make sure you subscribe down below. All right, so I have a few queued up here. Let's start with the best debut indie title. It's for the best debut game created by a new independent studio, which it's impressive when you look at this, realizing that this would have been from studios, this would be their first game that they've made necessarily. Again, you see Neon White there, Stray, Tunic. I'm not as familiar with Norco. Vampire Survivors, I recently started playing, and it looked kind of strange from the outside looking in, but after playing around with it a little bit, it's very simple, but I understand why people are becoming so addicted to the game itself. Also, just went into Game Pass, so if you're curious about it, you can go ahead and download it. And looking at this, I'm kind of between Stray and Tunic, mostly because I didn't get into Neon White, and it's still very early on for me with Vampire Survivors. I think I'm going to go with Stray, though, although Tunic was pretty good. But just kind of thinking about it, Stray, which we're going to see here soon because I did take a look at the Game of the Year nominees ahead of this. Stray certainly seems to be on the mind of a lot of the judges for this, is what I'll say. So I'm going to stick with Stray on this one. Best debut indie game. Let's see. We have most anticipated game. This one's tough, too, because I was looking at it, and I said, wow, 2023 is looking pretty good so far, but the fact that we have Final Fantasy 16, Hogwarts Legacy, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Starfield, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom as 6 different nominations for this, it's tough. Because I'm excited for, I'm going to say all of them, but Hogwarts Legacy, I'm not a big Harry Potter person, but the game itself so far looks good. I think I'm going to stick with The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom for now, though, mostly because Breath of the Wild was such a good game. I'm very, very interested to see what they can do to one-up that one, so I think I'm going to stick with Tears of the Kingdom. Let's see. Then we have Best Game Direction. That's awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. Game direction and design. Let's see. Elden Ring, Ragnarok, Horizon, Immortality, and Stray. Can't really play Immortality, so unfortunately I can't really say much about that title, but I played all the other ones, or at least I'm playing through Ragnarok now, but I beat Elden Ring, beat Horizon, beat Stray. I think for game design and direction, I think I'm going with Elden Ring on this one, especially when it comes to game design. Elden Ring does a very good job of creating this wondrous nature about it, where you want to go around and explore all kinds of stuff. And anytime you talk to someone about the game, we all went in different directions, took different paths through it. So a lot of interesting stuff there when it comes to the design of that game at its core. Best action game: Bayonetta 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Neon White, Sifu, and Shredder's Revenge. I'm down to 2 titles immediately. For me, it's either Bayonetta 3 or Shredder's Revenge. Bayonetta 3 is a very good action game. For the best game in the action genre, focused primarily on combat. So if we're focusing primarily on the combat in the game, Sifu actually had pretty good combat too. In that regard, I think I'm going to go with Bayonetta 3. While Shredder's Revenge was a lot of fun, it didn't have kind of the deep combat that we get out of Bayonetta 3. I mean, good game, but I think with that one, I will go with Bayonetta 3. Best role-playing game. This is a tough category too, and I saw just now when I'm seeing this with Elden Ring, obviously it's in the Game of the Year discussion. It certainly makes this a bit harder to look through and pick out what could top it. But having that, Live Alive, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Triangle Strategy, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I got to go with Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I know people like Triangle Strategy and Live Alive, but what Monolith Soft was able to do with Xenoblade Chronicles 3, yes, on the Switch, but just in general, as a game itself, it was very impressive stuff going on there. And then obviously the world overall, massive, massive land to explore and a lot of stuff going on in that game. So I'm going with Xenoblade Chronicles 3 on that one. Best fighting game. This category is weird every single time. I say that because I'm looking at Sifu, right? Why is Sifu in this category? Is Sifu a fighting game? I feel like it's not. You do have one-on-one encounters with bosses that I guess you could look at as timing-based combat and then go, oh, it's kind of a fighting game. Best game designed primarily around head-to-head combat. You would fight multiple people in Sifu, and it was a single play, I guess. Anyway, DNF Duel, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, King of Fighters 15, Multiverses. I didn't play DNF Duel, but people do seem to really like that game. Played some King of Fighters 15. Only issue is I'm not a big fighting game person, so Multiverses is incredibly popular. I kind of want to default to that one, but I wouldn't be shocked if something like DNF Duel took this one. But the fighting game category is weird every single year, and sometimes I think it's because they feel like they have to go find a game to fill a void. In this case, it was Sifu. I think a couple of years ago, it was Jump Force. So, hey, I mean, Street Fighter is coming up again next year, so that'll be an easy one to drop in here, and we'll most likely win. All right, big one. Game of the Year. Recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. This was immediately controversial, by the way, when it was posted up, and as soon as they announced Stray was in here, I was like, that's not going to go over well with a lot of people. But A Plague Tale, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and Stray. We were able to guess all of these on the podcast this past weekend, except for Stray. We had Stray up there as a vote with that, or Shredder's Revenge, or Neon White, and it was kind of a roll of the dice for that last slot. I mean, it could have been any of them, but otherwise, let's be real. We're mostly voting, or most people will be voting between Elden Ring or God of War Ragnarok. That's not to discount the nominations for A Plague Tale or for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, by the way. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 getting in there, it's very difficult for a JRPG to be nominated for Game of the Year in what's mostly a Western-focused award show. When Persona 5 got in there, it was very impressive. So, hey, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 getting in there, equally impressive. And Monolith Soft gets recognized, so, hey, good stuff there. Horizon Forbidden West, unfortunately, it's a good game, but it's just been consistently overshadowed and forgotten about this entire year because of Elden Ring. And so what can you do about that? A good game, though. I liked it. Plague Tale, Requiem, we had talked about this. We figured that would be in there. It's interesting narrative-driven experience. I have to get back to that one, by the way. I'd like to try to finish it before this award show happens, but we'll see. There's a lot of stuff happening right now in terms of games. The problem I have right now is I'm a little more than halfway through God of War Ragnarok, so I need to see how this finishes out before I can cast my own vote on this and pick that between Elden Ring and God of War. I'm still leaning towards Elden Ring just because I haven't finished Ragnarok yet, and I've seen a large amount of Elden Ring and experienced it, but that can absolutely change after I finish Ragnarok. So I'm going to withhold my vote now, but if I had to take a guess, I guess because the judges will mostly be what influence this, I think the audience vote, it's like 10% or something like that. I kind of think the overall games media is going to lean towards Elden Ring, and that's what will take Game of the Year. I've been surprised before, though. I mean, God of War 2018 beat out Red Dead Redemption, too, so you never know. It could absolutely happen once again with God of War Ragnarok taking out a game that most people think is going to win Game of the Year. But hey, interesting stuff. Not a bad set of nominations, even though I know Stray kind of getting caught up in the controversial pick. But really, I think most of us look at this and say, obviously, the votes are coming down to Elden Ring and God of War Ragnarok. But hats off to all the games that got nominated here. Let me know your picks, though, through all the different categories we went over, and then even some of the ones we didn't. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.